we're the Unsettled, and today, obviously, you would have saw the lovely video of the house. We are going to be discussing the Villisca axe murders.
Ooh.
You got to have a family murder.
An axe murder.
Yeah, you got.
Finally, an axe.
You
murder.
have to have a family murder or a family vanishing.
It's got to be. It wouldn't be the season without it.
We had season 1 with the Sodded children.
Yeah.
Season 2,
Trump family.
yeah, and this one is going to be the family die. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's get into the nitty gritty bits.
Yeah, so if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like the content, drop a comment below your thoughts, opinions, what you think of the case, and
hit that notification bell for up and coming videos in the future. That wasn't so smooth. It was smoother last time.
Yeah, you bushed me.
I did.
Right, so you saw the house. The house is actually open to people to stay in because allegedly it's haunted. I'm not going to get into it on this case. Right.
Same as yeah.
Yeah, so you can go do your little tour, look around it, enjoy the house and what it is.
What is it about? Family died here. It's haunted. Let's rent it out.
Yeah, pretty much. You could literally turn up, you can investigate it, you could do a paranormal search. I'm not going to get into it. It's pointless.
We've discussed that many a time.
I don't believe in ghosts. He does. I'm more interested in the fact of who this killer was.
Interesting. We shall begin.
We shall. So, on June the 10th, 1912.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
The Moore family was sleeping peacefully in their beds. Joe and Sarah Moore were asleep upstairs while their 4 children were resting in the room down the hall. In a guest room on the first floor were 2 girls, the Stillinger sisters, who had come for a sleepover.
Okay.
So, a bit more that I didn't write down here because I thought I'd add it in now. They had like a Christmas church doing. The 2 sisters didn't want to walk home on their own, so they were invited home for a sleepover.
Safe. Fair enough.
Sleepover. Safe and secure.
Yeah.
Or so you think.
Mm.
Right. Shortly after midnight, a stranger entered their home through an unlocked door. Back then, you don't lock your doors.
No, true.
You don't lock them. You're not going to. Why should you? Nowadays, we lock it, barricade it. COVID can't even get in through the door.
Nope.
Let alone through your fucking letterbox. Right. The killer picked up an oil lamp from the nearby table. So he walked around in darkness with a tiny little oil lamp so dimly lit.
Oh, that's creepy.
You ain't sleeping tonight. So like I said, he tampered with it to get the very, very low light.
Just enough so that he could see what he was doing.
Yeah. So he had an oil lamp in one hand and obviously he had an axe in the other. It's kind of spooky knowing someone's
Oh,
running
just
around your
don't
house.
trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Something's going to impact you. You're either going to get really badly burnt or
Yeah.
you're going to fall on the axe.
Now, I want to point out before I begin, this stranger knew the layout of the house very well.
Interesting.
He knew where to go.
Hmm.
Questionable. So, you have a stranger that's just got in through your back door. He's picked up the oil lamp and he knew where it was. He had it on a dimly lit setting or tampered with it enough. And he's walking around your house with an axe and you're going to get fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's entertainment, this is. The killer ignored the sleeping girls downstairs. The stranger, actually I'm going to call him a stranger, made his way upstairs. Guided by that lamp, he crept past the room with the children in.
Okay.
And walked directly into, obviously, Mr. and Mrs. Moore's
parents,
bedroom,
yeah.
right? Then to the children's room, then finally back downstairs. You ain't gonna like this at all. Then, as quickly and as suddenly as he had arrived, the killer left, taking keys from the home and locking the door behind him.
Oh, that's weird. What?
No, wait. Obviously, he's done something to them.
Yeah.
But I'll get to that in a minute.
Mm.
But he's taken the keys and he's locked the door behind him. He's such a polite killer. I wish he'd tidy up.
He probably did.
He'll be... So the next morning, the neighbours became suspicious.
Yeah,
Noticing...
the door's locked.
Obviously, they couldn't go around for a cup of tea. But they were noticing no rumblings or anything from the home at 5 o'clock in the morning. Not being funny, I ain't awake at 5 o'clock. Well, I am now. But I wasn't. So if my neighbours didn't see me from 5 o'clock onwards, they wouldn't think it's suspicious. But allegedly...
Maybe they were early risers. Maybe.
So they alerted Joe's brother, who obviously arrived to take a look. What he saw made him physically sick outside. Right. Everyone in the house was dead. All 8 of them hacked beyond recognition.
Oh.
Right. The police investigated and said the parents had been murdered first, and then with they'd been murdered with scary force.
Oh dear.
Right. The axe that was used to kill them had been swung so high above, obviously, their heads, it had left gouges in the ceiling above.
Okay.
So literally he'd gone like, bang! With aggression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
So Joe alone had been hit with the axe at least 30 times. Right. The faces of both parents as well as the children, all heads had been reduced to absolutely nothing.
To pulp.
Mm-hmm. Police described it as crushed fruit. Right. The killer also revisited each room in unison after they was dead.
Just to double check.
No. I'll tell you why. This is really weird. Okay, so it's like the killer visited each room in turn after he'd killed them all. So he'd walked around the whole house after he'd killed them all.
Well, he's got free time now. He's definitely not going to get disturbed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So he wasn't in a rush at all.
Okay.
So the killer knew he had nothing to worry about, which is kind of like a in my head that's more worrying.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what does this killer know, or this stranger know about the house? He knew the layout. He ignored everyone first and went straight for the parents.
Yeah. So he knew where they were sleeping.
Exactly. What are your thoughts so far? You ain't gonna get any thoughts out of this.
It. So far, I'm saying it's not a usual
Right.
home entering.
If that wasn't disturbing enough, the fact no one heard a thing or woke up, the police found other worrying things as they searched the house. After murdering the family and the 2 Stillinger sisters, the killer apparently set up some kind of ritual. The killer covered their heads with sheets and the children with clothing. He then went into every room, covering all the mirrors and windows with cloths and towels.
Oh, that's weird.
Wait,
That's weird.
At some point, he took a 2-pound piece of uncooked bacon from the fridge and put it in one of the bedrooms, which the Stillinger sisters were in, and I'll explain why.
Oh.
Right. So, obviously during my investigation of this, I found a load of information. Right. So, he had almost certainly sexually assaulted one of the Stillinger sisters and possibly thought about the other. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is after he crushed their heads in with an axe. Right. The younger Stillinger sister is called Ina, or Ina, I-N-A. Okay? Ina, being the younger sister, was positioned legs apart, while her older sister, Lena, I think that's her name, had her underwear removed, her upper body rotated, her nightgown lifted to her waist, and a bloody handprint on the inside of her thigh. This is fucked up, I'm telling you. This kind of makes me think Mr. Cruel.
Yeah.
But more
sadistic.
Right.
It's like Mr. Cruel with a vengeance.
Yeah. Reading a few versions of the attack on the Stillinger sisters, it's clear something happened after they were both dead. In this room also, the axe, while it was cleaned, was found with hair and skin still stuck to it in places. So the axe...
Which you would imagine...
The killer left the axe in the room, but he left it in that room because that was the last room he went in, because he did some other things. The killer also went back and looked at Joe and Sarah after they was dead. Blood had filled a shoe under the bed, which the killer picked up and emptied. He had also how can I put it? Hacked at an angle at Sarah's head, removing skin as though purposely making sure to disfigure her and her face. So he got the axe and was just taking little slices of skin off while she was dead. The killer took his time and made sure each room was, I guess, to his liking. Yeah. I like serial killers with kinks, but this is weird.
Oh, this is
right now. Before we
one hell of a kink.
Before we get deeper into this case,
God, don't say that.
No. You must be a twisted fuck to go this far. But to pose a young girl in a sexual way, investigators insisted that he did this to get. Okay. Investigators insisted, and they still say, that he did this to get some type of sexual attack just off of the two girls.
Okay.
So it wasn't necessarily an attack on the family at random. This killer knew there was girls in the house, so it was a sexual attack. Right.
So they were targeted.
Possibly.
Along the lines, maybe.
You know that piece of meat I mentioned?
Oh, yes.
So the killer took a piece of ham out of the fridge and put it in the Stillinger girl's room.
And not obviously a piece of ham.
This is like a big piece of ham.
It's a leg of lamb.
Yeah.
Oh, leg of ham, sorry. Hock, whatever.
Investigators believed it served as an artificial vagina.
Ugh.
And the mirror in this room was covered, so he didn't look at himself while looking at the underage girl, while then he continued to masturbate using the bacon/ham. Just a thought.
Oh.
Here's some other information. Joe's pocket watch was broken off of the chain upstairs, so it was snapped. Okay. But not for theft, but so the killer could keep track of time while he was in the house.
This is so weird.
Okay. So he knew when to leave, either to get a train or avoid being seen.
Yeah.
What do you think so far?
They're messed up. Big time messed
up. While the killer was sexually psychotic, he wasn't deranged enough to get himself noticed. So he walked among normal people, basically. As a regular person after knowing what he's done, but he covered all the mirrors in the house.
See that?
Right, many believe the killer hid in the house while the family went to church, yet no, that never happened. He literally went in when they were asleep. Okay. He walked right in as they slept. Your home's meant to be a safe place, just so you know. Can we carry on? So, by the time the police and coroner and minister and doctors arrived to investigate the crime scene, word had spread and crowds had gathered inside and outside the house, corrupting the whole house. Because they were all fucking, curious about what the fuck had just happened. Okay, one of the townspeople even took a fragment of Joe's skull as a keepsake.
Oh,
that's normal.
Oh, people are weird.
Yeah, the police had little to go on, and with the killer possibly already ahead by 6+ hours, police did a half-cocked investigation because the whole house has been fucked up.
Yeah, it's been ruined by this point.
So most of the evidence inside is fucked. Basically, you've got every Tom, Dick, and Harry and axe-wielding murderer in that house.
Literally. I wonder if they went back.
Thought process. Possibly. Right, 2 suspects were brought to the police's attention. Frank James, a local businessman, in competition with Joe Moore. Joe had worked for Frank for 7+ years before starting his own business and farming equipment.
Yeah, that's not unheard of, though.
Right. Rumours also spread that Joe was having an affair with Frank Jones's daughter-in-law, though not proven. So it's a possible thought.
Yeah.
While they had deep hatred for each other, it wasn't as deep to cause this type of murder.
No, that's like, I'm going to punch you when I next see you. That's not, I'm going to creep in while you're asleep and axe wield the whole of your family.
But despite Joe's relatives that were alive said it wasn't that deep, maybe it was deep to Frank. Maybe it meant more to him. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The second suspect confessed to the murders in confession, but later retracted that statement.
As you would do if you're getting
Lynn George...
pressed on by the police.
Right, this guy's got a long name. I'm just going to call him Lynn.
Okay.
He was an English immigrant. That's rare in America.
Oh.
He had history of sexual assault and mental health problems.
Okay, more plausible so far.
He admitted to being in town that night, left early in the morning. He was small and very slim. Maybe not strong enough for the murderers itself, because he was very tiny and small and rat-like. Just saying.
Yeah. No. But
he doesn't seem strong enough to lift an axe with that force, put it that way. Right.
True, but then even the smallest person can have
Power. Yeah. He was left-handed, which police determined via blood splatters, so was the killer.
Right.
His history with the Moore family remains eerie. He would watch and stare at them when at church or out and about.
Okay.
He'd look at them like, I'm going to get that bacon out your fridge.
Yeah. What you having for dinner?
I'm going to look at you in a sexual way and just everywhere. Right. A dry cleaner even said Lynn handed his clothes covered in blood to clean the day after the murders. He also kept asking to visit the house and dressed as a police officer to do so. You're going to say, it's him.
I'm just saying.
Listen. He even signed the confession, then denied it and said he was beaten into confession, which he was. I think with all this evidence pointing towards him, they will kick the living
They will
shit
kick
out
the
of him.
living.
Right. So, thoughts so far. Was it a stranger passing through? Was it someone who hated the Moors? I'm not going to talk about the hauntings, right, of this place, or the fact it's open for people to visit, as I said, for like the ghosty things. But apparently someone went in there and someone got stabbed. They stabbed themselves in this place because it was that haunted. Pile of shit.
Yeah.
He stabbed himself for publicity. He took the chance. Either way, what do you think about the case?
Very disturbing.
I wouldn't say it's that. I think it's creepy. I wouldn't say it's disturbing.
It's disturbing.
I've read worse.
It's disturbing. Why would you ruin a good ham?
I think the thing that makes it disturbing is the fact the killer, after making sure he had mutilated their heads, went into the room to admire his handiwork and to make sure it was done. What also is creepy is the fact he walked around with a pocket watch. He didn't steal it, he put it back on the kitchen counter. He literally snatched it off and went, right, my time starts.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was just timing his masturbation fetish. I wonder how quick I can bash one out now. I'm in a rush. But I think that's the creepy part. The little oil lamp, the axe.
So at the start of this case, when you was going through it, I did think it was a vendetta against the family because they were first. The parents were first.
Yeah. What makes this... Okay, so the police definitely put it down to a sexual maniac, right? Because of the evidence they found, right? But I think if you were to put your mind in a criminal's mind, you had two young girls there, why just position one? Not two. Why would you go for that older one and not the younger one, knowing you're not going to get caught and you've got all this fucking time on your hands? Why would you use bacon or ham? The body's there. What's the matter? The head grossed you out? Should have thought about that before you bashed it in.
Literally.
But he covered their heads with clothes. He covered the mirrors and windows with sheets. He made...
See, that's the thing.
That's creepy.
That is creepy.
But did he cover them so he didn't look at himself committing these acts, or did he cover them afterwards, not being able to look at himself and what he'd just done? Maybe there was some guilt coming through.
That's...
But then he's got all this time on his hands. That's a long time to walk around with guilt. And like I said, perform a sexual act before you leave. If you felt that guilty, you would stop. You wouldn't.
Yeah, but that's the normal person of thinking.
Okay.
If you think like.
Okay, if I put myself in the mind of a killer, I'd try and get away with everything I could.
Yeah.
Like if you can steal once, you can steal again.
How far can I push it? How far will I go? Or how far can I go?
So do you think it was the weedy little man with the sloppy little arms who looked like a rat? I know someone else that looks like a rat. He lives above up there.
It's not unheard of. Like,
it seems like he was fueled with rage.
If he's got
anger,
maybe anger, or split personality, or like anything can trigger. Like maybe jealousy. Like maybe he's looking at the family saying, "I want that," and if I can't have it,
I'll kill everyone.
I'll kill them all. But then normally, like, if it's an agenda against the family, then the two girls wouldn't have been harmed and bombed.
Unless he was just like,
"While I'm here,"
or was his main target the sisters? And he thought,
I'll have to get the rest of the family.
This is possibly
before I get those two sisters, or everyone's going to wake up.
This is possibly why, like, maybe the girls had a funny feeling that they were being watched, because he did used to watch the family, and they were best friends with their children.
Yeah.
So maybe the girls had a funny feeling. Obviously, didn't want to walk home on their own, being late at night. They thought they were going to be safe. They wasn't, and maybe this attack was positioned at them. And like what you said, get rid of them out the way to have you play with them, kind of thing.
Yeah,
seems a long way to go.
It does seem a long way around it.
And it seems like I said, the killer had a lot of time. He knew exactly what to do. He knew the layout. He knew everything.
Because you think if you can get into the house quietly, you can take one.
He could have just snatched one
without having to kill the whole family. Like it's
the fact that
the fact that he went upstairs and hit them that many times with the axe,
and the fact he really went to town on the wife,
which really brings out anger. Like he was angry, he was jealous, he was all of those feelings.
I get the idea of having someone like completely disfigured so they'd never see their head, but cutting pieces of skin off after they're dead. Emptying a bloody shoe that had filled up from the mattress, like just picking it up and going and putting it back. It's like, are you taking pride in your work?
Literally. That's it's psychotic.
Someone with a mental problem.
Definitely mentally unstable.
Yeah. And like what I said to you, if he picked on one girl, why didn't he pick on the other one as well? He's got two there.
And then you've got the children upstairs, you've got the parents, like it's...
There's a lot of holes, and he only chose one. So that's what made me think maybe he was after just the two girls. And he saw that they got home and went to that house, and he thought, right, I've got to kill all these people for these two, haven't I?
I know the house, I know the layout, which kind of throws me out.
He knew where everything was. Like I said, there was no theft, no money taken, there was no damage done to the property, there was nothing.
Hence what...
It's a sexual attack.
It's aimed at one of them, or all of them. There's no...
I'm glad you like it, Will. I'm really glad.
Not that I like it, it's just intriguing, and it's weird.
If you go to the house now, they've still got the same...
decor, probably.
It's all very much the same. We'll show the viewers the clip, but all the mirrors are still covered up with the same...
cloth.
Yeah. And you can still see the axe inside the house.
Wow.
Put you right off your bacon.
Nah.
I
could still go for a bacon sandwich.
It's when the ham's folded over. Looks a bit clammy. But yeah, we're going to show you the video of the house so you can have a little look around.
Yeah.
We We've been the Unsettled. If you like our content, subscribe. Drop a comment below. What are your guys' thoughts? Like, the police put this down to a really psychotic sexual attack. But, or am I missing something here? Have I clocked onto anything? Maybe with just the target of the two girls, maybe the family wasn't actually the target. Maybe it was just the two girls and they saw the fact that they went to that house instead of walking home. Could have been a completely different situation. Maybe the Moors would have survived. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? But until next time, we'll see you soon.
Bye bye.